Like, for example, when I see a lot of filmmakers and they have a GoFundMe campaign, nothing wrong with crowdfunding, but I wanna know how much of your money are you putting up? You know, are you gonna go to Jamaica on vacation today and you trying to cut, or how much skin do you have invested in the game? And not and then also for a lot of filmmakers, one thing I would say is that sometimes there are filmmakers who want to do the project tomorrow. And I think that if what you really want to do is to plan it out. Because when you think about Warner Brothers doing a Harry Potter film, did they do that? Say, we just gonna do this 3 months from now, or did they plan it out? So I know you didn't ask me about that, but that's just one message that I have for filmmakers. One, I want your best. And number two, plan everything out as best you can. I try to everything I do, I try to live by a creed. If you stay ready, you never have to get ready. And if it's done, it doesn't have to get done. If you ask me to do something, if I can do it right now, I'm gonna get it right now because my word means a lot to me. And also, the more things you check off your list, it leaves less for you to forget something. You ever thought about doing something, then you forget about it, then I didn't hear it.
All right, all right. Well, what I was saying is that when you present this argument, which are really vital and sometimes can be really harsh sometimes and
Hmm.
hard as it were,
Hmm.
what is the reaction of the people? What do they feel? What do you sample as a kind of reaction from the people?
It depends who sees it. I know that for any of the film festivals that we took into the films to, they were very well received. I mean, I've been fortunate. We were really blessed that between the four films, we got 240 selections, domestic and internationally, in different film festivals. For example, I think that A Monster was the least selected film in film festival, but won the most awards. And the first award, I was going to stop entering into film festivals, A Monster specifically, until we won Hong Kong. Our first award we won in Hong Kong. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, okay, because this is somewhere totally that's not the feeling that I'm getting from these films is that people are enjoying them. They give them something to think about, and they've been very, very well received, which I couldn't be happier about.
That's great. So if you were to say maybe this is your best film because of maybe the input that you put into the film because of the reaction of the people, which one would you say is your best film in your career? The one that you have produced.
If I have to say which one's my best film, I'm gonna have to say is When We Pray on Them. When We Pray on Them is the last film that we did, and I would say, well, I would have to say When We Pray on Them and A Monster because the cast of both of those films, everybody that I worked with on all four films were phenomenal. But the specific, like the A Monster, the two ladies that work with me, Shalandis Willis Smith and Rhonda Jackson Smith, the way these ladies in rehearsal just took over and the way they were so into it. And I got to the point where I'm sitting there and I'm directing, and I didn't have to do anything. I just sat back and they went to work. And they were and they understood the seriousness of the film. They weren't afraid of it. They embraced it. They were actually honored to be in it. And I mean, I thank those ladies so much for their hard work. And when we pray on them, I know that that could be it's a subject where it was needed. All the cast members understood the journey that we needed. They were excited about the rehearsal that we did. They were happy to shoot. We actually got a chance to shoot in a live jail. So that was tremendous. So we got a chance to shoot on location. And those other two films that I would say are the best. If I had to put them in, and I only say the best because of how they've been received. Basically in film festivals and for audience reaction. And I'm only saying that based off of the results of that.
All right. When we pray on them, what
Mhm,
is the central message of that film that for people who have not seen it yet, so at
mhm,
least they can go to see it, but
mhm,
sort of a kind of a little spoiler. What
mhm.
is the central message that you want to communicate to the people through that film?
Is that number one? How would you feel if this happened to your family member, regardless of what race or color or creed that you are? And the second thing is that if you were a police officer and you killed an unarmed black man, if you knew that you would be killed in the next 24 hours, would you still pull the trigger? That because, and I'm not trying to incite any violence, but if that was a real possibility, that changes a lot. And the whole being killed in 24 hours represents consequences, whether it's going to jail, whether it's being killed, whether whatever it is. If there were consequences to doing this, would it continue to happen? And that's the central message that I want people to think about when you look at When We Pray on Them.
Hmm. I wanted to spend some time there a little bit.
Mhm,
The consequences.
mhm,
I remember I've talked to a writer in the US, of course. Then we're looking at the situation that happened both in Buffalo and
mhm,
also the one that because it have happened too many times that you can't even count it.
mhm,
So I was saying maybe it continued to happen because there are no consequences.
mhm.
So that is the question. What? Why are there no consequences? Because now, if somebody have gone around and start shooting white people, I believe that there will be consequences.
I think that there'll be consequences before lunch. So, there would definitely be consequences, and to me, now here's the thing. The first thing is this. Listen, that all police officers are not bad because to me, in Virginia, have I had some racial profiling? Yeah, I have, but for the most part, I haven't had the same issues with police officers that we're seeing in all over the world. That has not happened to me. I haven't been a victim of that. I even had a woman she said to me one time, which was I couldn't believe it. She said, "Well, Ron, if you haven't been affected by this, why do you care?" And I was like, "Why do I care? I care because it can happen to me just like it can happen to any of these other black men. There is nothing special about me that I can't be succumb to the same treatment. Unfortunately. Now, why is there no consequences? Um, I don't know. I think because it feels like there's no consequences because they can do this and nothing really happens. It seems like it's no big deal. Now people may say no big deal. What do you mean? What I mean is this: when these things happen, a lot of people talk about it. They try to get the mother and put her to calm people down, and then it's just time to the next person that gets killed. So nothing happens means that there is no incentive to stop. I mean, yeah, there's an outpouring. Yes, people, and is it making some progress? I can't. I have to say it is making some progress, but we need more progress because
All right.
the message.
That
Because
that part of the progress,
Mhm.
I like you to expand on that.
Okay,
Now let's look at the United States
okay,
law enforcement agency.
hmm
I want to say what I've always said before,
okay,
that this is one of the most trained in the world. They are one of the most resourced
okay,
in the world. They
okay,
have the resources. You can't stand there and tell me they don't have the resources to be able to police their citizens.
hmm
They do have it. They do have the legal backing. So are they really unable to arrest an individual? So that for this reason, they need to shoot the individual and then bring a dead person to the law court. I want you to help me understand that.
Well, I think if you're talking about resources in Beverly Hills, absolutely they have those. But do they have those for the entire city of Detroit? Do they have those for the entire city of Chicago? Can we honestly say that you can get the same recruitment class of police for those areas that you would get probably in a Manhattan, that you would get in a Beverly Hills, that you would get in a San Francisco? So that question I don't know. What I do know is that the God complex is real. For some people feel like, I am the law. You do what I say. And if somebody has a hidden agenda, it is a way to mask it. And if you are a police officer, is it a possibility that you have to ride with the blue? Because if you're not with the blue, then who are you with? So that could probably put a lot of officers in compromising position because for them, if they do something against it and they looked up upon their turn against their brother, then now what is their life going to be like? So are there some compromising situations they have to make within themselves?